Hi and welcome back to our maths lesson on grade 8 exponents. We'll be simplifying without the use of a calculator, looking at the laws of exponents, right? So, simplify without the use of a calculator. You can pause here and attempt to answer. First set here, we have xy to the power 0, 5 to the power 0, 0 minus 5 to the power 1, 5 times xyz in brackets to the power 0. So we're testing, do you understand the rule? What happens when something is raised to the power 0? 1.2.1, we have x cubed times x4. So we're testing, do you understand what happens when we multiply exponents? Bases are the same. 2 to the power 4 times 2 squared times 2. And we have x times y in brackets raised to the power 3. X times y squared raised to the power 3. Then we have our division problems. 3 to the power 6 divided by 3 squared. 3 to the power 4 divided by 3 squared. Combine do it. Multiplication 3 to the power squared for 2 marks. 7 to the power 13 divided by 7 to the power 6. 1.4, yeah, we have 3 to the power 4 divided by 3 squared, all raised to the power 3. Yeah, we have x to the power 4 in brackets raised to the power 3. 1.4.3, 1.4.4. Right, so let's look at the solutions. As I said, you can stop here and attempt to answer it and see what you get right and what errors you make. And then work with me through the corrections to assist you understanding the problems, right? So, simplify without the use of a calculator. Right, so very important, everything in the bracket must be raised to the exponent outside. So in theory, you would say 1 times 0, which stays 0. 1 times 0, which stays 0. Anything to the power 0, then simply becomes 1. There 5 to the power 0 simply becomes 1, so 1 mark for that. 1.1.3, 5 to the power 0 minus 5 to the power 1. Anything raised to the power 0 becomes 1. Minus 5 to the power 1 simply stays 5. And 1 minus 5 then gives me negative 4. So 1 mark there for understanding it's 1. Minus 5 and another mark for negative 4. Here, x, y, z to the power 0, anything to the power 0 becomes 1. So therefore that becomes 5 times 1, 1 mark. And 5 times 1 then gives me 5, second mark, right? Now let's look at the second set of questions. Right, now for the second set here, we have x cubed times x4. X and x are the bases. As you can see, they are the same. They have a multiplication sign separating them. So therefore, when we bases are the same and we multiply, we add the exponents. So therefore, I have 3 plus 4. 1 mark for correctly adding. 3 plus 4 then gives me 7. So x to the power 7, correct answer, 1 mark. 1.2.2, we have 2 to the power 4 times 2 to the power 2 times 2. So I have 3 base 2's, right? And the exponents I have is 4, 2, and there's an invisible 1 there. Please don't forget the 1. Doesn't mean if I write nothing there, it means 0. 2 to the power 1 is simply 2. Because they're separated by multiplication signs, it means I'm going to add the exponents. So 4 plus 2 plus that invisible 1. Very important. We always catch you out with that. So 4 plus 2 gives me 6. 6 plus 1 then gives me 7. So 1 for correctly adding. Another 1 for correct answer. 1.2.3, we have x times y in brackets raised to the power 3. So when something is raised to a further power, we always multiply the exponents inside with the exponents outside. So 1 times 3, and there 1 times 3. 1 mark for multiplication. 1 times 3 is 3, and that is 3. So I have x to the power 3, y to the power 3. Now these spaces are not the same. So please, you can't go decide, and this I'm talking about from marking years. Can't go decide that's xy to the power 6. Or decide it's x to the power 6 or y to the power 6. The bases are not the same. That is my final answer. So don't go write another answer after that. Here we have x times y squared raised to the power 3. So 1 times 3, 2 times 3. That gives me x cubed, 2 times 3, y 6. Again, I can't say xy to the power 9. Incorrect. I can't go and say x to the power 9 or y to the power 9. This is the answer because those spaces are not the same. I can't go add the exponents because I'm multiplying. Alright, I hope you understand that. Let's look at the next set. Now, here we're looking at division. So 3 to the power 6 divided by 3 to the power 2. Both up is 3. If I see a division sign, I have to subtract exponents, provided the bases are the same. So that's base 3, 6 minus 2, and 6 minus 2 then gives me 4, so that's 3 to the power 4. Second problem, we gave you 3 to the power 4 divided by 3 to the power 2 multiplied by 3 to the power 2. Alright, so basically division, we have to subtract exponents. Multiplication, we have to add the exponents. So therefore it becomes 4 minus the 2 plus the 2. 4 minus 2 gives me 2. 2 plus 2 gives me 4. Therefore 1, 2, 3 to the power 4 is 81. Third set here, 7 to the power 13 divided by 7 to the power 6. Simply now becomes 13 minus 6 because I'm dividing. Subtract exponents provided the bases are the same, which in this case both are 7. And my final answer, 7 to the power 7. Alright, so that is division. Now for my fourth set, simplify without the use of a calculator. Alright, I'm going to have my values in a bracket and raise them all to a further exponent. So you have 3 to the power 4 divided by 3 squared in bracket, raised to the power 3. According to BODMAS, always first try to solve the bracket. So division in the bracket, bases are the same. Subtract the exponents. So therefore my base is 3, 4 minus 2. Right? That becomes 3 to the power 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. Raised to the power 3, so that becomes 2 times 3, which then gives me 3 to the power 6. Look at the second problem, straightforward, x to the power 4 raised to the power 3, it simply becomes 4 times 3. We assume you know 4 times 3 is 12, no? 1 mark. 1.1.4 for 3 marks, remember they say simplify. I have 16 to the power 2 raised to a further power 2. So I'm going to say 2 times 2. It gives me 16 to the power 4. Right, now 16 is not in its simplest form, exponentially. 16 can be written as 2 to the power 4, meaning 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 would give me 16. So I have 2 to the power 4 raised to the power 4, and 4 times 4 would then give me 16. My final answer here, 2 to the power 16. And then last one here, 5, that would simply becomes 3 times 4, gives me 5 to the power 12. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. God bless. Bye.